Hello.
Welcome to the Muscle of Yarn cast.
Right. I was waiting for the extra syllable.
I just dropped that extra yarn because it sounds silly.
Mm-hmm.
So, this yarn cast is brought to you from Shelburne, Vermont, our yarn store, Must Love Yarn, where we sell a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today, though maybe not as many because we've got some.
We did a little traveling.
New York Sheep and Wool Festival weekend purchases that we're going to show and tell.
Some of which you also can purchase.
Yes.
Here.
That's true.
A few.
Very true. And you can find the store out on social media as Must Love Yarn or at Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook. Definitely Instagram's a place to be if you want to see yarn and project related things.
Yes.
So
Store related things.
yes. And I'm Angela.
I'm Jen.
You can find me on social media as Junior Bird Kid. Instagram and Ravelry as Junior Bird Kid. Like,
She's all in one. I am not.
yeah, I have the same name for both places.
Because she's thoughtful and sort of thought about that ahead of time. Whereas...
No, I thought I was going to be incognito
Oh.
by not using something that was associated really with me. Well, it is not with me.
Right.
Like, not
That
my
seems to
name
have
or not.
worked.
No,
Right.
it didn't work at all.
No.
So
Okay.
it's fine.
Because sometimes I think it's maybe not good to have my name. But anyway, but that's what I did. So on Ravelry, you can find me as J. Arbuckle. And on Instagram, even more specifically, you can find me as Jennifer_Arbuckle. In case you didn't know what my name was.
Yeah.
It's clearly
Yeah.
spelled out there.
And, caveat.
Oh, shoot,
again,
I forgot my phone. I just thought of something I was going to... It's fine.
That's my personal page, so you'll see other stuff up there. But there is some knitting
Yes.
content.
Mm-hmm.
Just yesterday, but by the time this airs, it will have been almost a week ago.
Right.
It's Monday,
Right.
the 30th of October, which is why I'm wearing cat ears because it's the day before Halloween. But what I was telling Jen in the outtakes that when this airs, it's going to be November 3rd, and so then it's going to look weird that I have cat ears on. So
I know. I
you're
think
welcome,
you could wear
everybody.
those any day if you want to, really. They're pretty discreet.
I might.
They're pretty
might.
discreet.
I like them. They're fun.
They are cute. Yeah.
Funny story.
They don't show up as much against our new background as they
I know.
would with the white background.
I had them on Friday,
Now you can see them.
and I came downstairs, and it's dark here when I come downstairs on
It's
Fridays.
pitch black now in the mornings.
Because I leave my house about 6 a.m. on Fridays. And so I know, right? So I came downstairs, and one of my cats was down there, and he gave...
He's like, ooh, the big kitty is coming down
No,
the stairs.
he could not, his brain was not working with the cat ears on.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached to pet him, and he was like, oh no, I do not know who you are or what's going on with you, but I am not here for it. And he just took off.
There's a new cat in town.
Right. He was wigged out.
It could have just been that it was morning. In the dark.
No. He's super
funny.
friendly
Cats
in the
are
morning.
weirdos.
No, yeah. I weirded him out completely with
I
ears
love my
on.
kitty, but he's a weirdo.
They're all weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
What are we doing?
our yarn cast pick. Do we have one?
Oh, shoot. I guess we could do this.
We could do that.
We're not very organized because we changed the table around and we got very focused
We
on
got
that.
distracted.
And then the table was full of things, and so we didn't. So let's do this. This is
Let's do that.
great. This
That's
is
perfect.
This is what we planned.
Totally planned it.
I don't have my glasses. I don't have my phone. We're not at the table. I need my things.
We moved. So tell us what you think of this new backdrop. Like, do you like...
Naturally produced Vermonti yarns
This is all
behind us.
Vermont stuff behind
It
us.
is all local to us.
Or, we can go back to white backdrop. But,
Yeah.
we can move the table
we
around
wanted to
the
look
store.
more like a normal yarn cast.
I know.
I think
Yarn.
it's fine.
I think it is fine, too.
It is fine. And next time I'll be more prepared and I'll have my bag with my glasses and my phone.
Yeah, and this was totally last minute. Like, we had everything set up on the other table, and then I was like, let's move it.
Yeah, I could use my phone. But...
All right. So, our yarn cast pick this week. This is
I'll tell you more, but I can't read the tag without my
This is
glasses.
a new to us yarn. This is an Ella Raid Eco Tweed. It is a probably sport weight, actually, based on the yardage. 100 grams, 328 yards. So closer to a sport weight than a DK weight.
Super soft.
Super soft. It's a 75 merino, 25 polyamide.
So through the flex.
And it's tweedy.
Tweed.
Very tweedy. And if I remember correctly, this has a very good price point. Let me
It's like
confirm.
$16
I
a
want to
skein.
say it's 16 or 17 a skein. Yeah.
$15.50.
$15.99, $14.99. Let's find this because clearly we are prepared.
I know it's
as
15
I am
something,
now looking this up on my phone.
I have lots of good colors. Nice fall colors.
Eco Tweed, $16.99.
Oh, all right. Well, whatever. 15, 16.
We have like 8 colors, all super gorgeous. I love this one. It's like a bluey green.
Yeah, this purple is really nice too.
That purple is nice.
It's a nice eggplanty purple.
Yeah, almost like same shade that I made that sweater out of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the tweed bits are multicolored for the most part. Even in, like, this one is a little bit more muted, but they're not sure the colors are showing up on the screen very well. There they go. You can sort of see the tweedy bits. So yeah.
So if
it
you're
out.
new, the way this works
Oh,
is
right.
for 2 weeks from the podcast air date, so November 11th through the 17th, you can get 10% off with a code that we're going to get you right now, which is YP Tweed, because we keep things pretty simple around here.
It's easier. Yes.
So with the code YP Tweed on the website, you can get 10% off this LRA Eco Tweed for the next 2 weeks. So until November 17th. So yeah,
Good.
that was easy.
Like it was organized.
I know, right? Except for all of the commentary that we had leading up to it. That would
Where
suggest
we made it clear that we were
that
not.
we were not. Yes. So what are you wearing?
I-
It's hand knit season. It is so cold outside.
It's true. Also, the heat may not be on in this building right now. so-
That's possible.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Time Makes You Bolder poncho kind
Nice.
of thingy. I like it because it is a very asymmetrical sort of shape, and it was fun to knit. And the yarn is a mixture of Solitude wool, which is the farm yarn. They're in Virginia. They're at Rhinebeck every year. That's
Okay.
where I bought the yarn. The multicolored and this beigey color there, and this blue is discontinued Taki Alden.
Sounds like that.
Maybe. I'm trying to remember now. But anyway, it's one of my favorites. Often just throw it on because it kind of goes with everything. And yeah. So
Nice.
that's what I'm wearing.
I am
I didn't see you
wearing.
wear this for a while.
I know. I dug it out of the sweater chest,
Mm-hmm.
which I need to reorganize because it's a mess right now.
Mine are like piled on top of things in my room.
I think I'm gonna buy a whole pantry cabinet to move up into my room for sweater and woolly storage because
That's a good idea.
I have it in like a little. They're all like crammed in a little chest right now, and I can't find.
I know.
And I'm running out of room. So this is Zwag by
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Hunter. This was going to be a Rhinebeck sweater a number of years ago.
the year, right? The year that it was the big Rhinebeck sweater.
Yeah, and except I didn't get it finished, so I was working on it while I was down there. But I like it. This
It's a pretty sweater. I forgot sometimes. Yeah.
also, this is one where you can see the cuff and the sleeve are 2 different colors because I did not alternate skeins, and I
Oh.
had one skein that was not like the others, and very clearly not like the others. So there's a
Oh,
few
so the bottom
places-
ribbing too.
bottom ribbing, but
You can't. It's actually fine. Yeah.
if you do it in specific
Yeah.
places, it looks like you did it on purpose.
Correct.
And then I think this yarn, I feel like is a Woolenvine
Maybe.
that I got at Indie Untangled at one point.
Could be.
It looks like I could probably also look at my project page.
I
and
would
then
if I
tell
had a
you.
phone. I could look at your project page
I'll-
if I had a phone. in
I'm
front
gonna
of
look
me.
right now. So the blue yarn is Dragonfly Fibers, which I really like. I buy almost every year. I buy yarn from them. Did not buy yarn from them this year at Rhinebeck.
I was tempted by their minis.
I think I got cranky with the how crowded their booth is, and normally I'm there on a mission and there's something that I want because I saw it, and I just didn't have that this year.
I felt like it happened to be at the time we were there that there were a lot of grabby people.
Yeah, I don't like that very much.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't remember it being super crowded, but I do remember some grabby people.
I'm trying to remember when I made this, where it's going to be in my...
Do you want that? Well, I'm holding it in my hand. It's a possibility, so...
Calm down.
Easy. Here's another one, just like it. Why don't you hold that one in your hand?
So the blue is Dragonfly Fibers Dragon Sock in the Nymeria colorway. So it's a nice blue.
Try and spell that.
It's spelled on my project page. I did link it in show notes. This is Volenvine Yarns, her Volca base, which was like it's got cashmere. It was a one of a kind. So a lot of times dyers will, if they have something that wasn't quite on formula, they'll sell it as a one of a kind. So it was supposed to be Monarch Garden, but something wasn't quite right with it.
It looks
from
like
her
Monarch Garden, orange and green.
Yeah, from her standpoint.
Yeah.
But I think it made a lovely color work portion of this. And this sweater is cool. It's got some really nice like texture detail. You can't see it, I don't think, as well on the dark, but there is like a little like
butterflies
kind of like a little butterfly stitch. It's like a little teeny tiny cable that just creates some texture all over the body of the sweater.
It's pretty.
So dusted off an oldie but goodie.
I know. Yeah, I've had this for a while too, but it's, sometimes.
This one I made I finished it October 22nd, 2018, which probably was right after we got back from Rhinebeck.
It would have
I
been.
might have finished it in the car on the way back.
2018, 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. A while ago. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm wearing.
All right.
And I can cross off mannequin number 1 because mannequin number 1's not over here.
There are no finished objects to share. Well, that's not true.
I have one. Well, I'm counting it
I
as
guess
finished
technically
object.
we have no finished objects. However,
No, I do. It's finished. I
see needles hanging onto that.
I haven't closed the hole, the top up yet. And it's on the needles to protect it. But it's done.
So cute.
Except for those.
And she started it when we opened the booth, I think, practically,
I
right?
Cast it
On Friday? A week ago?
Friday morning. The
Oh, right.
18th.
Yeah.
Before we left. So I would have something to work on while we were in the booth. Har.
I was just going to say. I did not do any. I did bring it like an idiot, but I did not. I mean, you could barely like have a minute to think.
I
yourself.
did.
I guess we had a few minutes here and there where it paused, but it was pretty steady.
I have one of these minder things. I just am off the rails right now. To show you, I have to disassemble it to put it back together again. So one of these, and the little doohickey goes on there, and then you can wear it around. So it's like a little yarn caddy.
It was pretty crowded to
It was
even be
pretty
trying
crowded.
to knit on that. But there were a few moments towards the end, and there were a couple moments here and there. In fairness, as we said, Michelle had a good day, and her booth was pretty full. And there were some really very full moments.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
very
yeah.
full.
And sometimes it was just me standing off to the side trying to not be in the way. So knit a little bit here and
Whereas
there.
I felt like I got trapped inside most of the time. When you sit behind the register because it's like the safest place to be.
Right.
For a few minutes. Yeah.
So this is like a modified sock head. The brim's not as long as it would be, and this
I love
it's not
that colorway.
as slouchy. But this is her glow bug colorway. It's one of her club colorways. I think it was the August
Couple months
colorway.
ago.
I made a pair of socks, which are also not finished because they don't have heels in them yet. Brought those with me because I was going to put heels in them over Rhinebeck weekend. That did not happen. Too tired. Tired eyes. But I did basically knit this hat, except for closing the top off. So I have this finished object. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to put it in the gift bin.
Nice colorway.
It is a very nice colorway. But I have so many hats.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feel like it's probably going to go in the gift bin. I'll have a nice home with somebody.
Unless your son takes it over. No.
He
I
wouldn't.
just was thinking about him painting his room green and
Oh, I know. Room's
black
fine.
and-
He just, nope, he's,
orange. Hunter orange.
yeah. I mean, I will offer it to him, but my guess is the answer is going to be no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So, finished object. I'm counting it as finished object.
Whatever.
Yep, totally. By the time this airs, those ends will be woven in, and even if they're not, it still counts. Knitting's done.
Yes. My only finished object are the 28 stitch markers I made for tomorrow that are up front.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot to bring back down here.
Those
that
were
was my
fun.
crafting.
Little jack-o'-lantern.
Yes, I had them lying around, so I thought, why not? I think I bought them to do a Seasons of Vermont progress
That would
paper.
make sense. Maybe
And then
like
I decided
last
to do
year.
something else, and it didn't work. But anyway,
Awesome.
we're doing a little trick or treat, mostly treat here in the
Yeah.
store tomorrow. So I spent a little time this weekend crafting with my wires. But that's it. All I did was just knit away on this web, which is progress.
Nice. So I finished that hat, and then I want to cast on a sweater, but I haven't wound the yarn yet. So I have not finished Aveeno. Aveeno is still in a timeout. Still very angry about that whole situation with the sleeves. So
You brought that with you because you were going to work on it.
yeah, and I did. I maybe
Yeah.
put a row or two on the sleeve while we were down there, and then I was like, nope, done. No, I did.
Yeah, too much brain power. It's funny, as I said, you do get really tired.
Yeah.
It's and you think to yourself, oh, it won't be that bad. How bad can it be? But it's you get back and the last thing you want to do is work on stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of sitting and goofing around and
yeah,
drinking adult beverages.
just a few.
A few. Also bad to knit on harder projects when you've had
Yeah.
an adult beverage or two.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Though I will say, because we're talking about adult beverages, the issues that I had with the Straya hat have nothing to do. That was a during the day mistake. I have no idea. That's it. Not paying attention to your knitting
Yeah.
issue. But yes, you have made some progress. Whoop whoop.
The sleeves are done. I did those because I was
Oh, look
changing.
At you thinking
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, because I got to the end of a ball of yarn and I was starting a new one, and I thought I'm just going to do the sleeves right now, and that way I can just knit down until I run out of yarn, which is probably what will happen. But yeah, so it's making
That
progress.
is so gorgeous.
So I'm excited.
So gorgeous.
So now I'm just in the knit around and around and around and around, and it's been. As I said, I took it with me, and I actually knit quite a bit because you drove, so I got to knit in the car for a fair amount of the time, and I worked on it pretty steadily that weekend and in the week since. And now, of course, I just want to cast on all the other things that I have in my brain, and I have stuff that I bought. And anyway, sorry, this is Garden Gate, and by Jennifer Steingass. Oops. For those that have not seen this 53 times, or don't remember because it's boring after the 52 times. And the yarn, the colored pattern yarn is a one-of-a-kind, I think. Maybe not but Fuse yarn. She's no longer dying. I bought it at Indian Tangled. It called Storyteller, I think, maybe. And then the gray color is wool and olive, maybe? I don't know. It's on my project page, which is not near me because it's over there in my phone.
That's where all those confabulated
Yes,
today.
it's fine. You've heard me talk about it before.
Yep.
And
we
it's
link
there.
to it in show notes so you
Yeah.
can get to it and see
Yeah.
the details.
Anyway, it's coming out pretty nice. And now that it's nice to be down into the body so that I can, because you look at the color work and you're like, oh, it's doing well and it's sort of showing up. And there's some color, the yarn fades from, the darker colors to some really pale lavender, and that you don't see as well against gray. But when you hold it up, you're like, oh, now I can really see
the whole picture.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
it looks like something. So.
Color work is magic.
Yeah, so that's good. And it seems to, and as I've said before, it's knitted a pretty loose gauge compared to, because the fingering weight, the gray yarn is a little bit lighter weight than fingering weight. It's a little, but it's fine because it's really drapey, and it, as I said, it squashes easily into my project bag. So it's good.
So I cast on another hat. I had been talking about this one, I think, before last podcast, because I had brought the leftovers. So I'm using the little color stripes of the leftovers from Aveeno Not yarn. Sorry, I moved the color bag off the table because it's in a really crinkly bag. So it's these guys from Canon Hand Dyes. And then I had some more leftover yarn, which is a hot mess because I left the ball on the table over there and brought the project and it just pulled
I was
out
like,
a whole bunch of yarn. This project.
I saw your post, but I don't know exactly what happened.
So this is a very fun pattern. I am enjoying it. It is like a half fisherman's rib. So it feels very brioche and very squishy.
Mm-hmm.
But it also means that if you mess up, it is almost impossible to tink back.
Yeah.
You can't actually tink it back because I tried twice. So you have one purl row, and then the next row you go around and you knit the stitch below.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, right,
and then
right,
purl.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so I was on a complete purl row, but when I picked up my knitting in the middle of the row, instead of looking to confirm that I was on a purl row, my brain was just like, okay, knit the row below and then purl.
Oh.
So like halfway through the row, I switched to the other thing. And
Yeah.
I think I could have salvaged it if I'd only gone like a stitch or two,
Yeah.
because if I had a couple of wonky stitches that I couldn't quite fix, like it would have been okay, but not like an entire row. Like I didn't notice it till I got all the way back around and then hit the stitch marker and I was like, why is this whole row purls stitches? Then I went, oh no. And I thought I was all the way up here. I'd gotten 2 colors done. And so I thought, I can pull back to this color band because then I can see and I can pick up the purl rows. Nope. It does something to the stitches when they get pulled over when you knit from
because
below,
you're
and it
right
just,
slipping
like,
them. You're almost slipping them, kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
I had to rip it all the way back to the 1x1 rib on the brim and start again. So the lesson is, if you're doing this kind of knitting, really make sure you know what row you're on.
Right. It looks deceptively simple. It is not
It
hard,
is
but there
very-
is no room for forgiveness.
No, there's no room for error here. It just, you can't. You have to rip it out. So I had been considering, I was having so much fun, like the first little bit, like doing the stitch. I was like, I know there's a whole sweater. Maybe I'll do the sweater. And then I hit that problem. And I was like, oh my God. Can you imagine if you have to rip out the whole thing if you mess it up? Like you'd have to be super careful.
Yeah.
But I love how squishy it is. It almost feels like brioche.
Yeah. I've done that a lot on like some
super-
hats. I like the
Yeah.
2-color fisherman's rib for the brim because you get that corrugated effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really pretty, and I think it'll be fun. And these colors, just
Yeah, they're great.
this gray has speckles in it, and it basically all of the speckles are the same colors that these striped yarns are. So that's fun. Now that
you have learned
I have
to
learned,
double check exactly
and
where
I am
you are before
aware
you begin.
that there is zero room for error, cannot fix it. I'm sure somebody knows how to fix it. My brain cannot
Yeah.
figure that out.
Yeah.
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 Yes. Sometimes, sometimes it's easier to take it out.
Yeah.
Because you think to yourself, I could learn a lesson here and I could figure this out, but I could also take it out and reknit it in the same amount of time that it's going to take me to do that, and it might still be wrong.
It was a hat, and I hadn't gone that far up. So yes, it was worth it just to rip it all the way back and start again.
Yeah.
Though if I didn't have to do that, I probably would have a second finished hat.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. But here we are.
Well, if I didn't have to knit one of the sleeves over again, because I finished one sleeve and then I immediately went to do the other one, and of course you're knitting in the size 5 needle, which is the body needle, and then in the rib you're like a size 3 or something. So I just picked up those needles and I started knitting the second sleeve in the smaller needles, and I got all the way to the part where it's like, change to your smaller needles, and I was like, and I was like, can you tell, like, if I stretch it a little bit? And then I was like, it's like this much sleeve. I'm just going to take it out and make it right.
Do it right.
Be happy about it in the end. And I was happy about it in the end. And it was an hour of my time. It was fine, but it was.
So I don't have anything else to show for my knitting content or production the last 2 weeks.
I have only worked on the sweater. The other pink sweater, the bouldering sweater, is resting. And I'm actually probably going to start. I want to finish that, but I decided to make a Christmas gift for my sister, so I'm going to start that instead because it's November. I probably need to make a little thing, but you'll see it in a second here.
I'm having that internal debate right now because I want to cast on like 4 projects.
Yeah.
And then part of me is also like, are you going to do anything for holiday gifts for people? Because if you are, now is the time to make those decisions.
Yeah. This was a brainstorm I had this morning. I had talked before about knitting her a sweater for Christmas, but instead I'm going to knit her a vest. I will say this. One of the things is that I did come back from the weekend feeling like, oh, look at all these fun patterns that people have knit, and I wouldn't mind making that myself. And so I did come back feeling a little bit more inspired. Not that I don't have a 85-page list of things I want to knit, because I do, but yeah.
So that's true.
It's tricky.
So I bought 2 things at Woolen Folk, and see end for long conversation about Woolen Folk and the challenges of Woolen Folk. We won't get back into it here, but there's a long conversation at the end of this about Woolen Folk.
Because it happened and we were there.
Yeah. The 2 things that I bought were from the booth that I was working in.
Yeah, we could do that first. Let's do that.
That will tell you maybe a little preview of we did not really leave our booth. So
we did not buy any, and we did have the opportunity to go around the night before,
but we missed 3/4.
I kept thinking like, well, we'll have time tomorrow. Like we had time.
Yeah, we had time last year. Nope.
Didn't happen.
Nope.
Yeah.
So after sitting in Michelle's booth, Woolens and Nosh, not sitting, standing, getting crushed into yarn, all day, I of course had to buy yarn from Michelle, and I am part of her sock club, so I get monthly skeins of yarn from her and self-striping yarn. So I had kind of been hoping she was going to bring her tonals with her because I knew I was going to fall down that rabbit hole, and she didn't bring them. So I was like, oh, Michelle, my wallet thanks you. But there is this really fun pattern called Funfetti. And it's knit with 2 skeins of her yarn, and she had those kits there. So of course, after staring at them all day, and when there was 1 left or 2 left at the end of the day, I was like, oh yeah, this needs to come home with me. So it's a skein of Tarhi fingering in just the blue, and then like a half skein of Happy Bright on the Tarhi base. And so these 2 are knit together in this fun little Funfetti pattern. This pattern is also only available on Knitrino, which is kind of a new app knitting pattern, kind of like Ravelry patterns meet Knit Companion to some extent, with videos and other tutorials. So I'm gonna give it a try and just see how it goes. It's a toe-up sock, so I've knit those before, but it's been a while. But it has tutorials right there, and it walks you through by section. In Knitrino, I was kind of playing around with it a little bit. So this is one of the ones that I wanted to cast on. I need to wind the yarn. Seems to be an ongoing theme with me. Want to start patterns.
I think if you wind enough yarn, eventually you'll start something.
I know, right? I know. So I want to do these socks. And this was a Woolen Folk acquisition. And the other acquisition from the Woolen Folk booth was one of the Bearded Pearl bags.
The special guest.
Special guest Caleb had bags. This is the sock size. And it's perfect. I was looking for another bag that I could wear on my arm.
In fairness, she described to me exactly what she was looking for on the way down there. And we walked into the booth, and
she's like, what about those? And I was like, yep, probably. Going home with me. So
they're really sweet bags.
They're very sweet.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Very well made. They also have this nice, I like the bucket bottom where they stand up.
Yeah.
They stand up nice. And you can fit a lot of yarn in here. I've got a pair of socks, that other hat, the yarn for this second hat, the ball minder thing, the mini minder.
Oh, yeah.
Wrist thing, and I have like a Notions pad. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's like Mary Poppins.
The clown
bag.
car of yarn bags.
Yeah, there's some stickers. Like, you know, you can fit a lot in this little tiny sock bag. Just saying. Clown car.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're welcome, Caleb.
You're welcome. Clown car sized.
So I also, I don't think either one of us bought the show colorway.
No, because it ran out.
3 o'clock.
No,
3
earlier than that.
Both of them were gone at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. The DK
yeah.
lasted a little longer. But
Yeah.
yeah, totally
Yeah.
sold out.
It was
Like,
beautiful. And we're going to have some here.
in a few weeks.
And she's dyed it, yes.
Just saying.
Yeah, and we'll show you a little bit. We did bring yarn back. We have 16 different colorways over there of her yarn right now. So we'll show you a little bit. So I, last year, actually I brought one of the big, because it's interesting to see it in the skein versus what it looks like in a cake. I love the fact that you can see all the stripes on the top. So this was Pretty Felt Garland, which was not her show colorway last year, but very popular.
Super popular. Yeah. She almost sold out of all of it this time too.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I didn't get it last year, and so I bought one this year, and so that's one of the ones I bought, and then the other I bought two because she had High Allen, which I just love these colors.
They're
super fun,
so
summery
gorgeous.
kind of colors. Which I think we have, I'm pretty sure we have that over there as well.
So can I just say a highlight of Wool and Folk is we met the Jenny. You know Jenny? Jenny's amazingly stretchy, super stretchy bind off.
JSSB, for
That
those that know.
that Jenny? We met that Jenny.
We sure did.
She was fun.
She was super fun.
We
yes.
got to chat with her for
She's inspiring me to knit a pair of socks with this yarn.
on Thursday when things were a lot more quiet. And you
she
could
came over
actually
at just the
chat
right moment, thank goodness.
with people. So I'm going to show you this too because I think whoa, look, we both printed off. Polar Arc is her most recent version of this sock pattern. And this is a heelless sock. What? I know.
You just
she
keep knitting.
said that and we both went, what?
More so her, because I don't knit a lot of socks, as you all know.
So what it means is, as you can see, this is a gradient. Your colors don't break. One of the problems with socks is if you're using self-striping yarn, you either have to put an afterthought heel to keep your sock stripes from breaking, or you have like the stripes don't follow the pattern because you've used it to knit the heel.
Yeah.
So this is a heelless sock. It's meant for gradients and self-striping yarn.
Yes.
My mind has been blown multiple times. One, because we met the Jenny. And two, because of this fabulous sock pattern.
Yeah, she has another Singularity, I think is the other
Is the
sock
first
pattern.
one?
Some people may have met it.
Yeah.
I was looking at her stuff yesterday when I was printing it.
It sounds
Yeah.
like there's a few more of these in the works, like with different patterns or
Yeah.
machinations and things.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to use one of my club yarn. This is the September yarn 80s summer mixtape.
So,
So I think I might use this to give this pattern a go.
I'm going to use this Pretty Felt Garland.
Does anybody want to do a Polar Arc knit along with us?
It's toe up. I'm excited
toe up.
about that because I'm going to do 2 at a time. Toe up.
Let us know. We could start it in a bit, like the middle of November, December 1st. Give people time to get the pattern and supplies.
Yes, and in case you're wondering, there is a lot of information
It's like
in this.
20 pages.
There's a lot of information and charts, and she goes row by row. So I think a lot of it is really
I
helpful.
think it would be a good pattern.
I had a
for
moment of
somebody-
like, wow, that's a lot of writing for some pattern.
I took one look at the size of the PDF and I was like, oh, what's happening here? And then
Yeah.
I saw that it's very detailed, and I think that
Yeah, and
that's
there's-
maybe not a bad thing.
There's different sizes, so when you buy the pattern, you get everything from like a kid's size, I think, all the way up through like
Yeah.
adult, large. So
And then there's like
You can-
instructions for half sizes. Like it's
very well thought out.
very well thought out. So, do you guys want to do a polar arc along? I'd love to. Let's do it.
'Cause I have nothing else.
Let
to
us
add,
know.
but-
I mean, I don't have any other projects happening. Let's start at December 1st. So that'll just give me a chance to get some other things done and or not participate in my own knit along.
Right.
Let me write that down.
December 1st.
Polar arc.
And
Along.
above and beyond everything else, she was just super fun.
She was really nice and super leaning into the whole like, you're that Jenny, because everybody was like, that Jenny.
Are you real?
Are you real?
We thought you were made up. We didn't know there was an actual Jenny.
Right?
Yeah, that was super fun. Unexpected and super fun. So,
Super sweet. Like, just, it was great to meet her.
yeah. She came because she wanted to do a little collaboration with Michelle and see how Michelle's yarn knits
Yeah.
up in her patterns. So
Yeah,
we were
I
lucky
think-
enough to be standing there at the right moment, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
So we're going to give it a go. Let's do a polar arc along. It'll be fun.
yes, let's.
If nothing else, it'll just be me and Jen and me. And then me. All
And
right.
you know how fast I knit a pair of socks.
Right? And I'm going to knit this other pair of socks. I should perhaps wind the yarn. Well, see, I don't need to wind the yarn for the polar arc along yet because that's not till December. So,
I took care of all that this weekend, but I'm not gonna. It's good though because that gives me time to knit this other project
yes,
for
priorities.
my sister.
So you're going to do the tessellated?
Mm-hmm.
That
I'm
was
gonna-
the pattern.
This was and above and beyond. And I have to admit because I had seen it ahead of time, but I have to admit it's so cute. It's like the
in person.
It is
yeah.
really sweet, and I will probably make one for myself as well.
I might as
But
well.
then I thought to myself, this would be a great little knit, and my sister would really, I think, like this. It's kind of fits her style, and so I did a little stash diving.
Yeah,
from last year's Rhinebeck.
I was so good in the Feederbrook Farm.
I
booth.
think because I
didn't buy
still had quite a
anything.
bit, and
I haven't knit anything from all the yarn about last
I have a
year.
whole plan for the sweater that's still halfway through. So this is, so I'm sure many of you are like, I knit that already, like who knows? But so for those that don't know, there are three colors. You have a solid, which is the ribbing, and then it gets carried up through. And then there's two contrasts. One is a, whatever, barber pole, whatever you want to call it, type yarn. And then the other is fuzzy yarn. And so you're sort of alternating which one you're using when. So I was looking today to see, I looked at my stash to see if I could do the whole thing out of my stash, but I don't think that I can. So I think I'm going to use this Green Mountain Spinnery as the dark color.
Yeah,
Isn't
that'll be
that
gorgeous.
nice?
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to decide between the white cream or this other sort of brown color.
Right. So I think the cream will lighten the sweater
Yeah.
and the brown will darken it, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like it just depends on which
Yeah.
direction you want to go.
Yeah, and this is actually a really beautiful aerial
It's a
color. It's really hard to
beautiful
see.
color.
It's very iridescent, so it has some other, it's got like undertones of pink and sort of nice gray, beige kind of color. But yeah, I think I'm a little concerned that this is too close together, and I was thinking that I might need something that's more contrasty. So, and I think this will also, but they're both neutrals, so
Yep.
they'll both neutralize. But
Yep.
I will decide before I leave the building today, because I'm going to keep working on my other sweater because I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm so close to just getting it done.
Well, that's fun that we
But-
both have a mohair dilemma. We can do our
I might choose something
mohair
crazy, but my sister is not a crazy color person. so-
decisions together. So I went to Rhinebeck
Oh, right.
looking for yarn for field sweater. There was a cardigan that was just released. The sweater's been out for a while. I'm still just going to make the sweater. And I have loved all of the pictures where people have added mohair to the wheat stalks at the top just to give it that little contrasty kind of color. So that's been my plan. But I wanted a really natural yarn. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to the New York Sheep and Wool Festival.
Just for the record,
Yeah.
there's a lot of natural yarn
Yeah. I could have gotten it here too.
here.
But-
I have some lovely choices. Now, I'm not saying
too.
that you made the wrong decision
I know.
at all, but for those that are wondering.
Yes. No, we have many choices here. But
Mm-hmm.
I hit the Bare Naked Wools booth because I knew they would have
Bare
some
naked wool.
Bare Naked Wool. So just natural wool. So this is a 65 merino, 35 de-haired alpaca.
Super soft.
It is so soft.
And it's really pretty.
It's a DK weight. It's their butter breakfast DK. This is the porridge colorway. So it's a very nice brown, light,
Neutral. Yeah.
neutral, kind of, but a warm brown.
Mm-hmm.
So to not have a repeat of a Vino, I bought an extra skein of yarn.
She's prepared.
I thought I could get
You
by
know that
with,
she's going to have 2 left.
I know, and I'm gonna be so mad.
It's beautiful yarn. It's not like you
It
won't
is
use
beautiful
it for something
yarn.
beautiful,
So this
but-
is 300 yards, 115 gram skeins. So 4 of them were going to be really close, and I would have been playing yarn chicken again. And I really want to, I think, make a longer sleeve sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So I bit the bullet and I bought a 5th skein of yarn just so I have it.
Hats for everyone.
Which means I will have extra. But so my dilemma is I came back here to look for mohair because I just got at the rest of New York Sheep and Wool. I was like, oh, my brain, I can't process
Yeah.
anything right now.
Yeah.
And
And we have lots of really
we
good
have
mohair.
pretty mohair. So
Mm-hmm.
I am eyeballing this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I would start with the dark purple at the top and have it get lighter
Mm-hmm.
as it goes towards the bottom. So that's option 1.
It's hard, right? Like, how far would you get?
Yeah, I don't know. So it would probably be mostly that dark purple,
Yeah.
which I think would be really kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there'd be just a little bit of
And
the
the tips of
lightning
the-
at the
yeah,
tips,
yeah.
which could be really cool
Mm-hmm.
looking.
Yep.
So this is option 1. But then when
Is
I
there
was,
a boating scenario going on here?
I don't know, probably not because I'm gonna take the yarn before we go.
But we could
today.
have a thing and just see how many people vote.
Pick the right one. So I guess we got some
We've had that for a while, actually.
Malabrito
Yeah.
mohair.
It's really pretty. Yeah, there's a couple really beautiful.
This is
I
the,
found it the other day, but we've had it for a while. Yeah.
in the chameleon colorway,
Mm-hmm.
which I have knit for other things,
Mm-hmm.
and those are all of my jammy colors in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that also, it would make the sweater look totally different, give it a totally different look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I'm leaning towards the purple because it's just
Yeah.
it's still my color wheelhouse, but it's
And it's knit with the other yarn, right?
Yeah, you
so it
knit
gets a
these
little
two
bit,
together.
Yeah, you get a marled effect.
you'll get that marled effect, and so I think this might just end up being too busy.
You'd have a lot of colors changing and
Yeah.
shifting, and so it
It-
might
with
be
a
really
pat-
pretty
with a
because it
pattern
might sort
already.
of, it might just sort of, yeah.
I can't decide. I think
Think
I
gradient,
think I
maybe.
am gonna go with a gradient.
Yeah, and part of me thinks you should
Gorgeous.
you should see how much it calls for, and then I might like go into the middle.
Well, but it's
Yeah,
hard to
I
tell
know.
because the pattern itself doesn't call for it.
Oh,
This is
right,
a
right, right.
modification, so
Right.
I've been diving into people's project
yeah.
pages to see, and not everybody's good about updating their
Quantities.
quantities. So it's
Oh my
possible
gosh,
that
we're
I
very good
would
about that.
use a good chunk of this 50 gram skein.
50 grams is a lot of.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
yeah, yeah.
that's possible. I'm gonna get down into this pink.
Well, you know what I could do when I get home is I could weigh what I have left of what I used for this yoke, because that might give you some sense of like how many grams.
So you do all of the ribbing, and then you do all of this down. So it's a good chunk
Yeah.
that you're holding the mohair double.
okay.
So
Oh, you would start it at the top.
yeah,
okay.
you start it in the collar.
Oh, I was thinking you would start at the end of the collar and just use the mohair where you have
No,
the
they
texture.
start it all the way. The ones that I've seen that I really like,
Okay.
they carry it all the way down. But now I still am like, I really like this, and what can I use this for? Because this is really pretty too.
But you have some other stuff over there in your pile that are similar to that.
I know
It is pretty.
it is pretty.
Yeah, I've been looking at. I took some pictures for the newsletter a month or so ago, and I was like, "Oh, I got to use this. This is beautiful."
Right?
But as you know, there's enough other activities going on. It's a little much with my
right? So I think I'm gonna go with this one. Just
no voting. Never mind. If you've already cast your vote, so be it. But she's already decided. So
yeah, I think so.
if you've made a comment, we will read it happily. Yeah.
I think for what I want to, my
yeah.
vision for this particular sweater, I think this will work better.
More subtle.
Yeah, I think this is gorgeous, but I think this will.
I think so too, especially with that color. I think it's
the purple, and then the pink just pops with this more than these.
All right.
So there we go. My mohair question is solved.
All right. What else do we have?
Well, you have some stuff to talk about.
Yes.
And then, should we do the CC's wool stuff? The CC's booth?
Oh, I could do the other stuff. Either way. Yeah.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
So I didn't bring the pattern with me because I forgot and I took it out of my bag. So I did mention the Paul Klee sweater last time that I was going to be looking for yarn for that possibly. And so much of my time at Rhinebeck was spent looking for less than 10 gram mini skeins because, that's a good hunt and there's less of it than you would think. So it actually made it sort of focused, but it did mean I had to go in a lot of different booths, which was really fine. And
it was really nice to be the person being like, Jen, many skeins, instead of, the other way where she's like, Ange, yarn you're looking for.
Right. So the version that I am probably going to make requires 18 colors plus the main color. So there's pairs of like light and dark, 9 pairs of light and dark. And I was completely on the fence about like, I want to make an all wool sweater, not superwash, versus I want to make a superwash version. And I sort of thought, well, I'll have to see what I find. Because I didn't really want to buy 18 50-gram skeins to use less than 6 grams a piece. Because that seemed crazy. So finally I did... we walked by Miss Babs and there weren't a lot of people. So I went in and I had
3 people in there.
And I had already been around. And I had like Dragonfly had some that I was looking at, and there were some other ones. And I was also thinking that if I do go superwash, I might pair it with some leftovers that I have. And so, but anyway, I ended up buying 2 chunks of mini skeins because each one of them had beautiful colors, but not. They're like 10 each, I think. I forget. I can't read this. I think there's 10 colors in each one.
10, yeah.
And so I'm going to sort of mix and match them to pair them up, these 2 next to each other and, wherever. So, and I probably will use some of my leftovers as well in the sweater. So, and it's not exactly the color, but I am going to look for, I was going to say more of this. This is kind of the color that I was
brown.
thinking. Yeah. So I think it will probably be paired with something pretty neutral.
I brought this one to show her, which it's definitely more gray.
Yeah.
Though it is warm.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't quite decided. Yeah, I know. It's
gray,
pretty close. Yeah.
Great. This is definitely warm. Like when you put these 2 together, you can see this is more of a
And I have gray here,
blue
so I was thinking that I might need something. So I'm not 100% sure what color the base will be. There's also, we have a tonal over there that I was looking at before that's like lighter and darker colors there, which I might use because it'll blend together when it's being knit. So anyway, so I'm excited about that. Mission accomplished. That was good.
So I brought this, I have 2 skeins of this Earl Grey fibers. This is Superwash BFL. These are 150. I have 250 gram skeins.
So I could look and see if I wanted to take it off her hands.
Yeah, look at it. It appears the answer is no.
Which is good because you made a plan for it. Because I had made that decision in the car on the way down.
Yep, she had already made the decision. And so we went by CC Wool. Went by her booth, our friend CC. And her show colorway was absolutely gorgeous. And she had it on a bunch of different bases. Jen got it in the American U. And she had these little like kind of mini skeins. These are a little bigger, probably 20 grams a piece, minis. But with this like sparkle, and it's got like green sparkles in it.
Yeah.
So this is dyed in the show colorway, which are all of my favorite colors and sparkles.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought,
Do you need mine?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I'll hold
No,
on.
hang on to it.
Yeah.
I may not.
If you don't need it, but it's there. I won't use it until you decide.
I thought, can I pair this with this beautiful gray?
Mhm,
And,
yes.
And one of the patterns that I was
Right, because we were looking for green for you.
right
to
looking for yarn was for
Yeah.
Birkin. It's Caitlin Hunter pattern, and I've been wanting to make it for a while. Could have also gotten a set of mini skeins to do Birkin out of, because you can do it
Yeah.
with one color as the counter color. You can do it with multiple colors, but I just think these would be so much fun to pair together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
And for a long time, we were looking for green.
for like a
kind of
green, yeah,
not this green, but more like apple green.
like yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
Like the color of the ribbon on this.
Yeah. and I was just striking out. I wasn't feeling it until I saw kind of like that. Something like that maybe. Just as a different color that I don't normally work with. And then I found these. And they're sparkles.
Yeah.
And it'll be just in a color work, so it'll be a little fancy, but still fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I have yarn for Birkin.
And really, honestly, you already had that yarn, so
I already had this
you
yarn.
just needed a few little
I
extras.
just need these little guys.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to
Look at us planning ahead.
like work a little bit out of stash and a little bit out of new, and I guys have so much yarn. It's like hit like crisis
Yeah.
mode where it's just
Can't knit fast enough.
out of control. So I'm really trying hard to like pull some stuff from stash first, or just supplement with like
Yes.
these guy kind of
As am
things.
Yeah.
So you got the American U.
I did, and I was so the logo for this year's shoot was this beautiful Angora goat or something, and it had all these beautiful blues and greens in
I
it.
didn't bring my sweatshirt. I got a hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah, so I was not
Wow.
allowed to buy anything because they closed the. Anyway, it's fine. But it's fine because this was my souvenir instead. So Cece, her show colorway was patterned after that logo.
Yep.
And this has all the colors that I love in it. And so she had it on superwash, but she also had it on her American U, which is 100% wool, not superwash. And so Yarn Baby, there was only one left, so the rest of my skeins are regular 100-gram skeins. But anyway, I bought enough to make like a little pullover sweater. So she had a sample that was just knit in a really simple pattern, but I think it was
The
flats
yarn was
maybe or something.
beautiful.
The yarn is really pretty and it
Yeah.
knits up beautifully, and it's a little tweedy, and it's just, I mean, who can resist?
I mean, because it's not like we both don't have a sweater's quantity of yarn to make Desperate Housewives that we bought last year.
Yeah, but these are my
No, I know.
preferred colors. I'm going to do something different with that. I have a plan in my head for that. That's a future
I'm still
project.
gonna make Desperate Housewives, but
I don't need horizontal stripes.
I will say, so I bought from Cece. So this is like, I went down the rabbit hole and then really this is it.
Yeah.
She did a collaboration with Going Gnome. And because I've used the two felting kits
I
that I got
refuse on
last
principle
year
to
from
buy
Going Gnome. But it's so cute. And
It's
it's
adorable.
a little gnome that's all tangled up in some Cece's wool yarn. And it's just so funny and so cute. And I had to buy it. So here we are, a third now probably gnome felting kit that will not get used because I have all intents of doing needle felting.
You know, if there's a really good snow day, you might get your kids to help you.
That's true. I should. Yeah.
They've got nothing else to do.
That's
Take the
true.
tablets away, you know.
Yeah, they don't have those anyway. But
Well, whatever. You know
so,
what I mean. Turn the TV
Yep.
off.
So I bought that in Cece's booth, and I think Going Gnome had them too, and I saw them over there, and I didn't make the connection until I saw them in Cece's booth, and I was like, oh, I want one of those.
Yeah. Yes. They were very cute.
So very cute. And she had one that was all made up, and it was adorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then as we were checking out, she was like, hey, did you guys see my seconds basket? And we were like, what? No. What seconds basket? So this is some of her marled yarn. This is the yarn that we have a whole sweater's quantity of to make.
Well, we have it in this Right, and the part that's marled.
And the
right?
part that's marled. So the whoopsie is that some of this is not marled.
Here, actually, it'd be easier to see it.
Something happened at the mill. So part of it's marled and part of it is not.
Yeah, it's easier to see.
Yeah.
You can see half of it is.
Half is marled
Well,
and half
maybe
is
you
not.
can't see it, but anyway.
You can see it in there.
It's easier to see on yours because the
Yeah.
color contrast is.
So she had, so all of those skeins were, I don't know, it's like $20 a piece or something. Super
Beautiful
not
colors.
expensive for
Yeah.
the yarn.
And it is it is not superwash, or we don't even know.
I don't even
It
know.
had
I think it's
no
the
label
same
on it.
yarn that came in the kit that
Which
we
would
bought,
not
which
be
is
super-
American U, which
Yeah,
is not superwash.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know what I'm gonna use these for. It's
Towel or a hat.
something. I have two of them, so I could use them together, use them separate.
I thought it might be fun because the contrast between them is so subtle. I thought it might be
Yeah.
fun to knit something really simple where you can just sort of see it striping.
Yeah.
Because really it will stripe. You'll have like a marled stripe and then a solid stripe.
Yeah.
And so I might just knit a simple cowl, like a tall cowl to, something simple
And that ends the acquisition portion for me.
for you. I couldn't resist one of these t-shirts that were everywhere.
I got the sticker.
So, yes. So, this might be a big
From
nightshirt.
Camp Stitches
Yes.
from Wool and Folk.
Yes.
They were our neighbor booth.
Yeah. So I did that. And then I think the only other yarn I bought, I had it, but I think I took it out of my bag. The other sweater that I am planning, which also is with last year, or maybe, God forbid, the year before's cone of yarn. I don't really quite remember.
From
Bartlett Yarns.
Bartlett Yarns.
I decided that one of those cones, which is like a turquoise color, is going to be my halibut sweater from Caitlin Hunter. And I've been eyeing that sweater for a while now. I'm a Pisces, so I feel like it's something I must knit. And I decided that I got a white skein of the same sport weight yarn. And I'm going to hold my white with my shiny, sparkly Stellina.
That'll be fun.
Or not Stellina.
Yeah.
Stellaris.
Stellaris. Should we do a Caitlin Hunter along after the
Sure.
Polar Arc
yeah,
along?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like in January?
Yeah.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think? Do you want to do like a Caitlin
so many
Hunter
great
along?
patterns.
She's got so many
And that
amazing
new one
patterns.
that she just released, the Alpine.
Yeah.
Alpine something. Is really beautiful with the flowers. There are quite a few sweaters like that.
Yeah.
With that pattern, like cactus flower pattern.
I mean,
that
it could
is
be
deep
we
yoke.
could be a New Year's cast on for people.
Yeah. I might be ready by then. The Christmas present will be done.
So pop a comment in the
She's
video
released. She has beautiful patterns anyway,
Yeah.
but she has quite a few new
and
ones.
let us know if you guys are interested.
How many people want to knit fish with me?
Or I'm knitting Birkin. She's or swag. Like there's all kind. You could do sweaters. She's got hats. She's got other stuff.
Yeah.
Should we do a Caitlin Hunter along?
Sure.
Let us know. Does that
We're
sound
going
fun,
to.
guys? We're going to. So I guess come along for the ride,
Right.
whether you want to or
And
not.
my fish are going to be shiny and shimmery because I'm putting Stellaris.
That
in
would
there
be
with
cool.
them. Yes.
That
it'll
would
be
be
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
So we got one more thing to. Well, all right.
We have a couple things.
Couple things. Fall classes. The retreat date is going to go live in the next couple of weeks. We're just finalizing some stuff right now.
Yeah. I couldn't open your links, by the way. Or
And
whatever you
yeah,
sent
I
me.
know. It's being anyway. Yeah, it's being a mess. So
We'll work that out.
we're working that out. It's coming probably by middle
So
of
watch
November.
your email and also social media.
Yes.
And we'll
Yes.
probably talk about it again in a couple weeks because hopefully by the time we come back in a couple weeks, it'll be out there.
We'll be ready to go. So we have
We did a restock. I think I
Restock.
mentioned that before, but
Yep.
just to show you some of the amazing colors that we have. In case you're wondering, this one is Pretty Felt Garland, which I already talked about. We do have 16 different colorways. This is Misty Morning Walk on the Beach. I just grabbed a bunch of them. This one is This Is the Way. which is very fall, I feel like.
Yep. Very Star Wars.
And then I have a broken rib. It's not really broken. I have
Deep Fall.
Yeah,
That's a
this
really
is Deep
nice.
Fall. And then I really love this one, which is Peace and Light. We have a couple of holiday focused ones. This one is actually one of those very like beautiful wintry colors. Or just ocean, like, all kinds of peaceful and light sort of things. So, as I said, 16 choices over there.
And we should have
And Happy
pictures
Camper coming
up
soon.
on our website showing that it's showing what the striping sequence is when it's knit up, because it's not, I mean, her yarn's beautiful on the skein. It's even more beautiful when you can see it knit up with the
I have
stripes.
some samples over there. I probably could have grabbed them, but
But so take a look at those. But
yeah.
we are even more excited because we are going to be the U.S. distributor for the Bearded Pearl bags going forward. Well, until
This is why we think the special guest liked us.
yes, if and when they move back to the United States. So
Right. At
Justin
least for 2
and
years.
Caleb and Justin have moved overseas, and so getting their bags here to the U.S. has been challenging and a process. And so we're hoping to ease that way for Caleb for making his bags. So you're going to be able to get them from us here at Must Love Yarn. And this set that we have that we brought back from us is anticipated to go live next week on our website. So again, watch the social media for our page, the Bearded Pearls page, because we're going to be making a bunch of announcements.
And we don't expect them that they're going to last
They're
very
not going to
long.
last for very long. But the good news is we'll be getting more
Yes.
because we're going to become that conduit for him to get his bags back into the U.S. market. So
Small shawl.
lots of plans were made. That's the
Yeah,
sock size one.
And then this is the bigger.
So these are the two sizes that we are going to have initially with this first go round. We brought over 2 of the patterns. This is not, we have so many
I was
different
going to say like 10
patterns,
or 12 different fabrics, I think maybe.
different fabrics.
This one has pockets inside of it.
The big one has pockets. The small one does not. But again, they're that bucket style, so they sit up really nice. They're super well made, kind of a canvasy material, so pretty sturdy. Great drawstring on the top. And so we're very excited.
We're beyond excited. We're
We're
probably hiding it
so
very well right now, but
Tickled
we've had a little bit of time to know about this ahead of time. So we've had a
To-
week to like, woo,
be able to help him with this.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of challenges living overseas and trying
Yeah.
to ship stuff to the US and ship to multiple addresses and
we're already
with
set up to do
taxes and
that.
like other things. And we're set up to do it. So it's going to be so much easier for him and for all of you. People who want to get these Bearded Pearl bags, they are amazing.
they're so well made.
So well made.
Yeah, they're really beautiful. And there's a small rumor that there might be some Harris Tweed bags, which is why someone did not buy a bag while they were there because they heard that rumor. And so they've been thinking about a Harris Tweed bag for a while, so they're waiting. That person is not her.
We also got to see some concept designs of things that he's been thinking about doing, which are amazing.
Yeah.
So we are beyond excited that we have this opportunity to bring to you, and we have this opportunity to help Caleb and the Bearded Pearl
work
and
with them,
get this
yeah.
work with them and get their product out there and have this fabulous collaboration.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's excited because he doesn't have to deal with shipping.
We
to
only
the
gave him 1 or
US.
2 drinks before he made this decision. It wasn't like we
Oh, no.
waited till midnight on Saturday after we had been
Yeah.
so
No. This
just
was
kidding, obviously. But yeah.
yeah, lots of conversations, business related, happening over the weekend, and just one of the things that I love about going to fiber festivals, but also when you're staying in a house with community folks, getting to know them differently, better, and then finding those opportunities that would have never come up otherwise.
Yeah.
Or you would have never made that connection.
Yeah.
So we are so excited.
Yes. To say the least.
Start selling,
Pretty
Caleb.
That's right. Right. Get back to your sweatshop.
I mean, you are a special guest after all.
That's right. Stop gallivanting around the United States and get back to work, buddy. Oh, dear. We had a good time.
We had a great time. We are, again, just so grateful that we have this opportunity. And keep an eye on the social medias, because that's where the breaking news is going to happen for
Yes,
when
indeed.
these beauties go live. So,
it'll be great.
yes. So,
Yeah, so he brought quite a few with him. He sold
Quite a
more
few.
than half of what he brought with him, and we brought the rest
we
home.
brought the rest back to here, back to Vermont. So,
Yes.
very exciting.
There's a pretty big bag over there in the corner.
Pretty big bag.
Yeah.
We would love to ship them all out to all of you
Next week.
next week.
Yeah. So we've been very carefully hoarding this information, but we made sure that we could talk about it
Yep.
today. You may be hearing something similar.
You may have already heard something from Caleb by the time this airs.
Because that's the other thing, and hopefully by then he'll have already done this. But so I think they're going to come back to podcasting as well, which is great. I know
Yes.
a lot of people have missed them this past year,
Yes.
myself included. So it'll be great to. We got a little bit of a sneak preview, I guess, into everything they've been working on over the last year and all of the things that are entailed in uprooting your whole entire life and moving to a different country.
Another country.
Yeah. But all good. And
Yes.
it's exciting to see them come back around and
Yes.
join us all again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if they don't, we'll at least have bags for you to buy. So, but
Right. We will have them in the store as long as they last. We're not sure whether there'll be an opportunity for anyone local, but, I will say this, not for nothing. Obviously, if you're local, you can order one online and pick it up in the store.
that would probably be my recommendation.
Yes, if you see something you like.
So, yep.
I guess probably we could have brought over one of each fabric, because that would have been something.
Would have been a long show and tell. We might have to
We might have to
do
a
that as
separate
like
little-
an Instagram story
Yeah.
to give people a preview of that.
They are all loaded into our website with their different colors and styles, and so they're not available for you to see, but they're there. So
Just waiting to push the button to go live.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
anyway,
Anyway.
that's been a lot to hold in for a whole week. We were ready to post about it last Sunday.
You're like, no, we have to have a plan. We have to execute the plan.
Right.
Can't just be all all over the place. Who are we?
Yeah, I know, right? A tiny bit more restrained than normal. We didn't want to just make it up here in front of you.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I do feel like we sort of saved it. It's right here in the middle of the podcast. We could have started with it, I guess, but
No, it's fine.
it's fine.
It's fine.
If you didn't listen to this much of it, I'm sorry. You should have.
Should have. It's all
Right.
kinds of little nuggets hidden throughout this
That's right.
Yarncast.
Right.
You
Exactly
never know where the important one's going to live.
That's right. Yesterday in the online net group that I tried to sit in on, but I was bouncing in and out every 3. I would sit down and knit like 4 stitches, and then the doorbell would ring again. So, but I was telling them they were asking about the trip, and, we were comparing notes because a couple of them went as well. And someone said, "Oh, I haven't heard from the Bearded Pearl in a long time." And I was like,
Well,
I will say nothing. I will say nothing.
yes.
But so it's nice
Now
to
we're
be
saying
like,
something. Right.
yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
And so we had lots of other chit chats as well with some other folks. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Some fun stuff potentially coming.
Yeah.
Down the pike.
I think so.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Um,
And it was fun to share all this lovely stuff with you. As usual, we did not
Yes.
come home empty-handed, but pretty purposeful.
pretty restrained.
Yeah, I only had one sort of impulse buy, really.
I
So,
mean, that's the CC's wool booth. That was everything else was very intentional.
I was kind of hoping that her colorway would be like bright orange or something so that I could walk away like I
But-
did last year and the year before, but
Nope. No such luck.
no. But yeah, super soft that wool.
Yes, it is.
So as you can see, now that I have 85 other things added to my list of projects, I can just see the WIP pile growing. But
Yep.
Xmas gifts first.
Yes.
Holiday gifts first.
Yep.
So
I gotta sort some of that stuff out.
it's nice to have some direction because otherwise I would just be like, I don't know what I'm hitting first. I'm going to spend 20 minutes on 8 different projects every night. That's
Right.
not going to work. So that'll be frustrating as heck. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
All right. Well, that's
Thanks.
been a nice, lengthy
yes.
chit chat with
So-
people.
Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with us, and stay tuned. There's more chit chat.
A little bit of perspective to be shared.
Yes, about some of the weekend's events. So hang out if you want to listen to that, and a few other things. But
Yeah. We talked more about our actual experience a little bit
Yeah.
of the weekend and all the fun stuff as well as the
Yep.
dramatic events. Yeah.
kind of ridiculous events, really. Let's be real. It was ridiculous.
I'm slightly more diplomatic.
You kind of reach a point when you
No.
just can't be diplomatic anymore because the response from the organizers has not been where it needs to be.
No.
So,
No.
but anyway, there's more of that in the
It's all
outtakes.
there.
And there's stuff in show notes. Like, you can find all the gory details.
If you haven't already,
yes,
which I
we
suspect
haven't
you might have. Or you might have experienced it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because we did see a few folks.
Yeah.
As
Who-
we were wandering around.
who did.
So,
So,
or came to visit us
anyway,
amongst the chaos.
we will hopefully see all of you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Schedules permitting. And until then, happy crafting.
We'll see how many things we can cast on between now and then.
We'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, no, I just hit the camera.
It's fine.
It's gonna be fine. Hi.
Here
So
we
you've
are.
already heard our intro. We survived. And we moved locations in the store.
We just turned things around a little
We
bit.
just thought that people might want to look at yarn every once in a while. Hanging on the wall. We could use that wall over
There's
there
a lot
too.
of visual stimulation going on now.
Yeah, there's a lot to look at behind us instead of a white wall. So let us know if you like the yarn background better,
Or the pristine white,
or the white
naked
with the
mannequin.
with the mannequin.
Often naked.
And it's Monday. This is the day before Halloween, so yes, I am wearing cat ears.
I'm not prepared for
Probably
Halloween.
will be wearing them through tomorrow, and then this will post Friday in November, and I will look weird. So,
I'm sure it's fine. People will understand.
they will, because
You probably need them for warmth today. It is nasty, cold, wet out today.
yeah, it's gross out there.
And I thought to myself as I drove away from the house, where are my hat and mittens? Like, where are my gloves? Where are my...
Feel like I'm
things.
very ill prepared for cold weather.
It was
Even though
75 degrees on Friday. I mean, that could be
It was
why.
70 degrees Saturday morning,
Oh, Saturday too.
and
right.
then it was like 40 by like 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
And
but that's it though.
I've forgotten.
I think we're done. We're
how
done
to-
with that warmth.
I've forgotten how to leave the house.
I know because and this morning it was raining and very cold, or
Yeah.
relatively cold. And I thought to myself, I don't know what to wear. Like, am I wearing a raincoat today? I'm not going to be
Right.
warm enough in a raincoat because I hadn't put on a real sweater. I just had this. thing
Well,
on,
and we
so-
had a few days of cold weather like a week or two ago, and I remember thinking like, gosh, like my neck and everything
where's-
here is so cold. Like, why
Am I a
so
knitter? Like, where's my
cold?
knitted garments that keep me warm?
And,
I don't
and
know.
then I was like, lady, you've got like 30 shawls. Like, but this can be solved with a shawl.
You have a desk right by the door that has things piled on top of it, and people come in and they're like, wow, that's a lot of knitting. Is any of it on my body? Very little.
No. And have I forgotten that I have these things to keep myself
Yeah.
warm when it's
Yeah.
cold out?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, all the small things need to be, I don't know where they are. They
yeah.
need to be dug out and washed
Yeah.
or something.
I need to find the shawls that I want to wear.
It is funny. I do wear stuff all summer long, which is why there is that table full of stuff, because I just dump it on there when I come home and take it off, or before I cook something and splatter something on it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we're about a week out from like the big festival weekend that we went on, and we'll talk like acquisitions and stuff, I think, during the main podcast. But I did.
Do we want to talk drama now?
Yeah, I
or
do.
are we
I
not
do.
gonna talk
No,
about it?
I put it all in the show notes, links to different things. I do want to comment on Woolen Folk. I know a lot of people have. There's been a lot of social media activity about it on Instagram, in Reddit. I put some links in to where you can find some of these things. We were in a weird situation, I think is the best way to describe it, because we were not vendors, but we were
vendor
there
adjacent.
working with a vendor.
Yes.
And really,
A vendor and a special guest.
yes, if we were there with a special, we were booth staff.
Bare
Jen
minimum.
and I barely met the threshold.
Our name tags were like made out of like, I don't know, I'm just kidding. I don't know what.
Almost hand drawn. Actually, we hand drew on them.
We embellished ours.
We helped them along. But it, not to make light, it was an unmitigated disaster for attendees.
It was not good. Yeah.
For many of the vendors. It wasn't safe. It wasn't accessible. It was, did the weather play a part? Yes, but it was going to be a mess if the weather was great.
Yeah, it would have been
more of a
marginally
mess.
better, but it would have still been. And as a planner by nature, as many of us are, it's just heartbreaking because it could have, with a few very simple tactics, I think it still would have been tricky, but it would have been much more manageable and much better.
That particular venue was not designed for an event of this size, period.
Yeah, just basically parking and access were tough.
Awful.
Yeah.
It was super crowded. There were way too many people in spaces that should have been in spaces.
And again, the weather did not help because it forced people indoors. But
yes,
where I think people would have been spread out outdoors, and some of the nicer. It was in a very pretty spot, and it had the building itself was very interesting architecturally. So that was an old mill building or whatever. But it's just like the basic stuff was tough.
Yeah. I mean, we were fortunate to be with a vendor that was inside. And I think the only reason we were inside is because
she got there early
to set up.
On Wednesday.
Otherwise, who knows where we would have been.
Yeah, I think the folks who came later or didn't plan to come ahead,
Yeah. So I linked in show notes if folks want to read more about the gory details. I will say, of the stuff that I've read online about it, and I've stopped reading the last few days because it becomes very time consuming.
It's also very repetitive at a certain point.
It is, but I will say most of it appears to be fairly accurate based on what I saw. So
and hopefully, did you link to some of the good things, like please support these people?
Yeah, I was getting there. So I linked to a couple of different places where you can find the gory details if you want it, but I also listed to a complete list of vendors. And so there's been a lot of asks for folks to try to support some of these vendors. Some had decent days, some had horrible days.
Yeah.
Like no sales or very little sales, didn't make back their booth fees, kind of thing. I think the challenge is we don't know who is who on the list. So just the complete list has been provided. And if you were looking to try to support somebody or wanted to take advantage of some indie produced products, maybe start with that list.
Yeah. I think Michelle herself said in her, so we were helping Michelle from Woolens and Nosh, and as we have third year maybe.
Yeah.
I think we could be elevated beyond booth staff for our third year, but that's just a side.
It's become kind of an inside joke at this point, and I'm having T-shirts made because it's funny.
So she was very clear when she posted earlier this week. So if you want, feel free to go read her post, and I will paraphrase very briefly. She had a good day, and so she was encouraging people also to go find other people to support. Not that she's going to say no to someone who wants to buy her yarn, but so I think that's why partly we would encourage folks to find some people to support. There was a lot of really beautiful stuff there, and
there was stuff we missed. We were there on Thursday for like the
we had
preview,
like the quiet, easy preview day.
the preview event. There were no maps. That was also a problem. There were no maps to where people were supposed to
me
be.
As an architect, I just wanted to draw one right there for everybody.
We missed an entire floor in our building because we didn't realize that there was a fifth floor. We were on the ground floor. There was also a fifth floor. There was another whole building that we missed, and I think a second building across the street that we missed as well.
I don't know. Yeah. And in fairness, like some of the backstory, again, not to beat things to death, but it's been held in a different venue for the last couple of years. A really nice venue that everybody really loves and has been really easy to organize well and to be accessible and good weather, bad weather. The parking is adjacent and there's lots of good things about it. So there was a wedding and they knew that they wouldn't be able to have it this year. They had found another venue and then that fell through and they were at the last minute scrambling, I think. But, I mean, the last minute because 2 months is the last minute in an event. But.
Read the Reddit threads, and it might become clear why the other event location didn't work out.
Yeah. Anyway. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's, planning is everything.
Yeah.
And it is understandable. It's a big event to organize and plan. But even with all of those caveats, it could have been a lot better.
Yeah. And, I've been attending these events for a number of years. Like, we were there through the Indie Untangled.
The early years.
The early years where,
it's also a little scary.
Can I just say, Lisa from Indie Untangled, her post related to this was beautiful. And if you're not on her newsletter, I would encourage you to be. It was super classy across the board.
Yeah.
Very supportive of the vendors, a call to support those vendors, and also an acknowledgement that look, sometimes this is tough and she had growing pains. But part of it is how you handle those growing pains.
I know. Yeah.
And the response from the organizers have been
a little quiet.
A little quiet.
There has been a response. It's just been a muted response. And, maybe they're strategizing, but still. They could have done some stuff to publicize as well. Yeah. Like access to people and vendor list and all the kind of things that one would hope for.
And, for the folks that attempted to come out, that had challenges, parking had challenges, have mobility challenges. It was challenging to navigate if you don't have mobility challenges. So I could not even imagine if you weren't mobile, completely mobile, and that an event like that shouldn't have those issues.
No.
And it did.
Yeah. As I said,
and it's not good.
We spent a lot of time rattling off all the solutions that we would have put in place.
Yeah.
Many of which have been done by other people, so hopefully they'll learn from their peers.
Well,
and
if there's one going forward.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I would not be surprised to see that things change next year.
Well, or I would not be surprised to see it be the end of this particular event. So
that's sort of what I meant.
Yeah.
But we will.
But I heard Indie Untangled was lovely.
Yes, also wet because the weather was wet. But I will say this, and I did say it 100 times last weekend, or whatever, a week ago. In fairness, the last 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weekends for Rhinebeck have been really beautiful. We've had beautiful weather. In fact, it's been too hot, if anything.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was cold and rainy all weekend was, whatever. You just sort of work around it. But but it certainly made things really bad that day.
Yeah.
Apparently, the parking and anyway, there was a shuttle. Apparently, someone I know took it. So, but
we had to park a mile away. We were vendors.
Yeah, the vendors didn't get much.
And
shuttling.
Booth staff, the booth staff had to park a mile away.
Yes.
And walk in.
That's because no one wanted to park illegally. I was all in
favor.
Oh
yeah, I did not need to get my car towed or ticketed.
There was a court parking lot. I did suggest to Ange that she could make her own placard but that's obviously not. It's not acceptable, really.
No.
So.
No. And
I thought I could go buy some judge robes for her.
okay. All right. I'm pretty sure that's probably some level of professional responsibility violation.
I'm just kidding.
Impersonating a
Obviously, I
judge.
also do
But Your Honor, I'm not a
ethical
cat.
work. Right. Yes, all joking aside, and we were joking about parking illegally, although it was very tempting. I will say that.
We did
That's
on
all
Thursday.
I will say. Not really. We didn't get there until almost closing time, and
Yeah, still. But
also
we didn't want to
couldn't-
risk it
we
on
couldn't-
Friday.
We couldn't quite believe that the parking lot was not there. So.
Right. Yeah, we were having a moment. We were like, huh, well, this is going to be... Actually, at one point when we were driving around, I was like, well, it's going to be fine. Tomorrow's Saturday. All these municipal lots will be empty. And Jen goes, today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Houston, we
And then
have
I was
a problem.
like, well, maybe all these places are closed on Friday, and they all work remote on Fridays, and they all know that, and somehow that's planned for. But
No,
nope.
nope, nope.
Yeah.
And to the people of the town of Catskill, my apologies, because you were not prepared for that either.
Yeah, although I'm not really. Yeah, I'm not sure they were deeply affected because like people couldn't park downtown, so they were all on the
Hordes
periphery
of yarn and knitter people,
walking.
thousands of them descending on your town on a
True.
Friday.
Yes. The restaurants, I think, had a nice boost.
Probably.
Because I
And
did hear from other people that the food at the venue was impossible to get to, and
we don't know. The only
Who
reason
knows, right?
we were
We didn't
able
eat.
to eat on Friday is because we brought a bag of snacks with us.
because we weren't actually able physically to get out of the building.
We could not leave the building. We barely left the booth.
Yeah. Luckily for us, the bathroom was right around the corner, so we were able to. That was the one amenity that was adjacent to us. But
Through somebody else's booth. But,
true,
and, you know,
yes, we
it's fine.
digress.
It's fine. The Rhinebeck itself, New York Sheep and Wool, was fun. We missed the morning. Saturday, we just had
Friday is a very
really-
long day if you're standing in a booth for 9 or 10 hours.
and
or
then have to
12.
break down that booth at the end and pack everything out. It's a long day.
Yeah, and
We were really tired.
and it was pouring rain on or close enough on Saturday morning, so
Yeah, we were like, yeah, we don't need to go.
what's the rush?
Yeah.
So we reached like 1, I think, 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got there in time to eat some lunch.
Yes, a late lunch.
And then we walked around for a bit and saw some people, which was really the whole reason we were there.
Yes.
There was a small amount of purchasing.
Yeah, really.
More
really
than
small.
predicted,
It was
which was nothing.
very
So,
restrained, guys.
well,
So restrained.
it was purposeful. I will say that. I had
Yes.
one exception to that purposefulness, but
I mean, there was a
it was a
little
big one,
like
but still.
bleh in the CC's booth, which is I feel like what happens every year.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I can't be held responsible over in that booth. And then we went back on Saturday for a little bit,
Sunday. Yeah.
or Sunday.
Also a little bit later,
Yeah, and it
we
was
had to
just
bring
it
our
was
special guest to.
Caleb.
We're going to talk about our special guest in a little bit here, probably in the middle of the real thing, or were we doing it now?
No, we can do it both places.
True.
So we
We
were.
will have talked about our special guest by now.
Yeah, I mean, we hung out with Caleb from the Bearded Pearl all weekend. He was also
The poor guy was stuck staying in our house with us and Michelle from
Yes.
Mullins and Nosh, so the 4 of us.
he was fine.
Yeah.
We didn't traumatize him too much.
No, I don't know.
He's fine.
He appears to be fine because we have a little thing to talk about, but or we will have already talked about the thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it was good. It was really fun.
I had a fun weekend.
It was really fun to hang out with them, just
Yeah.
sort of downtime, and then
Yeah. We went to a Woolen Affair Saturday
yeah,
night.
that was really great actually. Yeah.
That was amazing.
yeah,
It was relaxing.
yeah,
It was what you kind of want an event to be. There was music, you could get some drinks, there was some food. You could sit in a heated tent and just hang out and talk to people and knit
Yeah.
a little bit, which is what we did.
yeah. It was
Really nice.
I mean, it was a ticketed event, so
Mm-hmm.
there's that. It was restricted to, I think, 200 people or something.
Yeah.
But, so I'm sure, there's pros and cons to everything. But I loved that. I did think it was great. And it was really pleasant.
say everybody in our group, we hemmed and hawed because the festival gets done at 5 and then that didn't start till 6. And then about 4:30, we were like, we kind of want to leave. So we're like, where are we going to go? We went to this cute little coffee shop in Red Hook and hung out. And there were some discussions about, do we really want to go to this? Well, we paid money. We should at least go check it out. If it's not any fun, we'll leave. You know, we don't have to stay the whole time. And it was like almost 9:00 before we left because everybody got there and was just having a great time.
Yeah, and I think, we didn't shut it down, but we were close.
Pretty close.
I mean, everybody sort of left towards it at the same time.
Yeah.
And it got super dark. But yeah, there was a fire pit. I mean, it was
just,
music. And
it
it
was
lovely.
nice music. The food was decent.
Yeah.
Was...
And a lot of those of us that had, and the nice thing also, so I was going to say those of us that survived the chaos on Friday were enjoying having a pleasant time talking with people where you weren't trying to shout because you couldn't hear, or you were, couldn't really talk to anybody because there were so many people in the same spot. So that was really nice to spend some time to actually talk with people in real time. But even at Rhinebeck, which was, I thought was, and maybe it was weather dependent, and there were a lot of people there, but it was not, no, look, you can't
This
tell.
one's still here. You got really dark. You got darker
I'm not
when
that
those
dark
lights
right now.
went off.
You have to go walk around up by the desk. Oh, wow.
Magic arm.
Right. Now it's my arm that has to get, right. Anne just passed the baton.
To booth staff, number
That's
2.
right. That's right. Oh, number 2. Really? I'm not sure how we decided what order we were going in. What I was trying to say is Rhinebeck, like it was busy and crowded, but it didn't feel as crazy crowded. And I do think maybe the rain, like the day of, people weren't like, let's go stand on a fairground today because it's beautiful weather and we want to be outdoors.
It didn't feel as crowded as it has in years past. I mean, I think there was
But all the
still a lot
vendors
of
were
people
saying
there.
it was great and they were busy, and so that's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was
and
lovely.
I was wondering,
it was kind of low key.
I didn't look down where like bus row where all the buses parked. I wonder if there just wasn't as many buses that came in.
I think there's that, and I do think the day of people really makes a difference.
Looked full.
Yeah,
like,
often.
Oh no, it's this one now.
Pesky light. Yeah. Often those people that come for the day off like bring their families, and there's like
That's true.
strollers and kids and all kinds of stuff hanging around. So anyway,
That's true.
It was nice. It's good.
Yeah.
We saw. It's funny. We saw a lot of people, and yet I was like, "Oh, we didn't see on the way back."
This person and this person.
Yeah, I
and
was
this
like,
person.
"Oh, we didn't see those people."
That's
But
the way it always goes, I feel like.
yeah, it is. You can only do so much.
Yep. So, well, should we? I mean, we don't have much else to catch up on, I don't think, because it has only been 2 weeks, and one weekend we were together completely for like 4 days.
Well, there's been a little bit of travel. So I came home. I came home from Rhinebeck on Sunday. We got home at like 5 or something. And, the next day, I got up and I went to Cleveland for a meeting. Stayed overnight. Came back late on Tuesday night. Got home at like 11 or something. Got up the next morning. Both morning flights were not early flights, thank God. But I got up the next day and flew to New York for an event for a client that evening, a big gala sort of thing, and downtown in Manhattan, and then came home on Thursday, back to the office for a bit. And yeah, I was tired at the end of last week.
Me too, and I didn't go to Cleveland or New York.
Yeah, it was fine. Both of those trips had some logistics associated with them, so it was just good to like check, but had a low-key weekend to catch up. So saw my sister and her family for the first time in what feels like a month and a half. They live 5 miles from me.
I think that's my problem, is that my weekends tend to not be low-key. Though I think I'm gonna get a few weeks here where both kids, the fall sports are done. And winter sports aren't going to start up for about a month.
Yeah.
So.
That's good. Yeah.
But we've got other stuff going on. But anyway, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We do have quite a few things to show and tell for sure.
Yeah.
And
They're going to be like a big acquisitions category.
Yes,
Not a
perhaps.
whole lot of knitting content.
A little
but
bit. Some knitting content. Some of us have made some progress.
Some of us made good progress, and then we had to rip out our progress and start again. So
Someone made a whole hat.
well, I would have had 2 hats, but can't.
I made a lot of progress in this sweater, so that's
That's good.
exciting. I've been very monogamous because I've been traveling, and that's been my. You wouldn't think a sweater is a travel project, but this one sort of condenses down, so it has been good to travel with. But
Nice.
and I have lots of plans.
Me too.
So-
And before I leave, I'm gonna wind some yarn so I can
No,
start.
I did yesterday before it got super busy in the store, so which was at 12:15.
Right.
Yeah,
So, all right.
yeah.
Ready?
All right.